Hey guys, Andy here. We have what might actually be a bit of a dull comparison, but let me explain why. First of all, thank you very much to clove.co.uk for the use of these two devices. But both these two devices, the Xperia X Performance on the left and the LG G5 on the right, have almost identical specifications. So they're both Snapdragon 820, they're both quad-core Cryo CPUs at the same speeds, they're both Adreno 530. The Sony has 3GB of RAM though, and the LG has 4GB. So hopefully it'll still be an interesting video for you to watch. Let me know your thoughts at the end, I suppose. Yeah, very evenly matched in the specifications department. Kicking things off with the fingerprint sensor test, which is harder than it should have been, I'm sure. Because actually the Xperia is very quick, and if I turn it on with the finger that the sensor's aligned to, I've almost got no way of it not detecting my fingerprint. It's so quick. And you can see here when I do get it right, where they both work because I've got my finger on. I mean, they're both very fast, but I would give the edge to the Sony, actually. It's an incredibly quick fingerprint sensor. Then we're going to move straight on to the Angry Birds opening test, which I kind of make excuses for every time I do it. And I totally understand that a lot of the time we're only talking a matter of a few seconds. But actually, I mean, this is a real-world example, though. So I'm going to run a benchmark shortly, which you could argue, well, was a benchmark matters. It's how quick. And you see there the G5. I mean, again, it's only, well, I don't know, what was that, 4 or 5 seconds? It's not a massive difference. And in this day and age, generally isn't, if you've got, especially if you've got top-end devices. It should be pretty close, but it's still interesting to see which one does come out quicker. I'm going to run it a second time, because sometimes, you know, device, it perhaps warms up, or or even it throttles because it's warmed up too much. So I run a second time, and I've also invested in a funky thermometer, and you can see the Sony is running about 2 degrees hotter. Well, I think you can see it's slightly out of focus, but the LG is there again first, and the LG is 2 degrees cooler. Not that either of the temperatures are an issue, but I just thought it quite an interesting thing to throw into the mix when you're sort of hammering these devices as hard as you can. How do they react? Do they heat up, or, you know, there we go. So now we're on to Geekbench 3. Obviously I won't make you watch the entire thing. We're going to skip ahead via the magic of editing. And we see the final result. They're both finished almost at the same time, and it's a very, very similar. Only, it was 150 points between them on the multi-core test. Both good scores, to be fair, but they're both sort of better than my Note 5, poor thing. But the Sony, once in that instance, getting the victory. Then we're hopping outside to check their GPS. I'm going to reset them both and try and get back out the app as quick as I can, and then try and start them both at the same time. They're both very fast, and you have to look closely, but the Xperia gets in by about half a second. So the Sony, what is that, 3-1 up? I wonder if I should probably I should keep count, maybe, shouldn't I? So I'm going, I think that's 3-1. But all of the tests are very, very close. Not much to split them. We're then going to check their screen brightnesses. The Sony got a 687, I think I saw at one point there. So pretty good generally. The LG I know doesn't have a stronger screen. I think I saw a 470. So fairly easy victory for the Sony when it comes to their screen brightness, which is actually very important for many people. Now we're going to check their speakers, starting off with some music.
Tell me where to go, tell me what to do. I'll be right there for you. Tell me what to say. I'll be right there for you. Tell me what to matter if it's true. I'll say it all for you. Say no matter if it's true. I'll say it all for you.
Like targets. Who would have knew from the moment I turned the mic on it? From the moment I turned the mic on it, I could be iconic. In my conquest, it's worth to fight dog from a tribe. In my conquest, it's worth to fight dog from a tribe conquest.
So whilst the Sony has stereo speakers, you even saw that I was checking if the volume was up, because it really isn't very loud. Rather disappointing. We're going to move now to the spoken voice.
Essentially gave organizations like GCHQ and the NSA a free rein to go do mass surveillance. Well, essentially gave organizations like GCHQ and the NSA a free rein to go do mass surveillance.
And search engine providers are being overwhelmed, quite frankly, with inquiries about various use cases, who the users are, and the government.
So the LG, far from perfect, actually has a pretty good speaker on it and defeats, I would say, the Sony with the stereo. So the LG G5 pulling one back there, and we're going to move on to my final test, which is the Chrome browser test. I've cleared the history on both devices. I'm going to try and tap at the same time. And whoa, another very close one, but I think you've got to give that first round of the browser test to the Sony. We're going to try the second website, which is NFL.com. That's possibly even closer. The LG sneaking ahead, I think. I mean, they are so close. Again, this is, well, actually the Sony's finished loading technically and the LG's still going, but I would still probably give that one to the LG. So again, this is real world usage though, you know, you're loading a website. Obviously, you're really not bothered if you're watching this thinking, I don't know, if you're watching you got the Sony and think, oh, the LG loaded fast at that time, oh, I bought the wrong phone. You're not. It's, I mean, whoa, that's another close one that I think the LG, yeah, so you're going to have to give the LG the browser test, I think. But, I mean, kind of as we expected. So, interestingly enough, we're seeing, I think, in the test that I've done, the 1 gig of RAM not particularly made much of a difference. So I suppose maybe the app opening test, the extra gig of RAM perhaps helps. I could, in theory, actually have done some better tests to try and test that RAM app switching and things like that. But I do try and keep my tests uniform and the same for all devices, and those are the tests that I run. So do let me know your thoughts though, but generally very evenly matched pair of devices. Thank you once again to clove.co.uk for both of these devices. Actually, do go and check them out. Leave me your thoughts in the comments down below. My name is Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.